the heirs of God. Well, if you're the heir and that's your father, which has a mother, we'll get into that later. It ain't just the father. If you are the heirs, that means that you are the direct descendants of the royal bloodline of your father, as above, so below. And if you are heirs, you are joint heirs with the Christ, which means that the Christ didn't have nothing in him or nothing about him that you didn't have in you. It's just that he is the Christ figure and the example to be like. That's when he says, be ye perfect as I am. Now, there can't be two perfects. Perfect means perfect. And perfect means an exact duplication from what he is. Well, if you are lesser than Jesus Christ, which is just one of the Christs, they used to pump out Christ every day in the ancient world. Christ was not just one person. If you were supposed to be perfect like Jesus Christ, that means that you have the science to be duplicate of what he is. You see what I'm saying? This is the whole deal on everything we're dealing with now is becoming gods. You see? He said, just as I have done great works, greater works ye shall do. Right? Now, the other chapter is, there's another one, Psalms chapter 8, verse 3 to 6. And for some people, I don't know how many people found this Moroni. I think it's in some of the other biblical texts because you know the King James Version ain't the only Bible. So there's several, I think this is in one of the lost books, Moroni chapter 10, verse 4 to 5, if you can find it. So now, that's the key on what's going down. Becoming gods. Now, like I said before, I talk on what is called esoteric teachings of the occult, which only mean that which is hidden. Hidden from you for the last 140 years or 180 years since the cracker translated hieroglyphics of Medunetta. You see? So now don't compare me with the rest of the people because those are historians. And they are actually, even though they're saying that's our story, that's actually his story. Because our story goes back millions of years. And you don't have none of them accounting for that. But now we have uncovered the actual stuff that just throws all chronology that you have been teaching, be ASCAC or whatever. It throws that out the door when the doggone Sphinx that sit in the middle of the earth is now 80,000 years old. Now, if the Sphinx is 80,000 years old, somebody had to build it, and it wasn't no doggone ape man. Now, there ain't no text out here to say that you come from apes, but yet Asa Hilliard, yet Charles Finch, and also Ivan Van Sotomayor say you came from ape people. Check. That's nothing but a family of different types of apes that was on the world, but you lived concurrently with them, as well as the dinosaurs or whatever. You see, there's different accounts of these particular things all around the world. You predate all that because you came straight from the Godhead on where all sacred texts say you came from. Mainly the star system Sirius. The ones that will be coming back soon and going to be coming back right up out of you to kill this cracker. Straight up. Now for the people that's still thinking that everybody, remember, people keep saying, well, listen, verify your text on where you say the white man is the devil. Right? Or what we would call a biological mutation. Well, hell, you can look at him and tell you a biological mutation. See what I'm saying? No developmental, no lip, no behind, none of that. Now, but for all you scholars out here, now you can challenge me on this because I put out a book and I had so much documents coming from the ancient world on where the white man was the doggone biological mutation that I had to stop printing the stuff. It started coming so much. Now, in scholar, I want to get on this white man thing first. You see, we got to lock you into this thing. You see. Now, in scholarship, you have theory until you have the archaeological or anthropological evidence to prove that the theory is either right or wrong. Right? Now, the archaeological and anthropological evidence is at the temple of Seti I in Egypt and at the tomb of Biblium El Manuk, which is the tomb of Ramesses V, where on the temple walls they tell you that the white boy, which was the Tamahu, Tama which means created and Hu which means white, which is the lighter part of another Hu that means black, but Tamahu which means the created white people. It goes at the bottom of the temple and says what? That the Nessi, which is an ancient black man, and the Ruti, which is an ancient black man, created the Tamahu. You see? Now, that particular temple of Seti I was a whole complete temple in the late 1800s. And they never show any pictures of that particular temple. By the time we got another temple of that particular temple, we got another picture in 1989. They had completely torn down the temple and removed the bas-reliefs. But you can find the actual information on that in Diop's book, African Origins of Civilization, Myth and Reality. Go and look in the particular part about the Tamahu. Just look in the index and read up on the Tamahu. Also, you can find the passage that I just quoted from you in Gerald Massey's book, Book of the Beginning, Volume 1, page 27. There are pictures in Dr. Ben's book from Giza to Abu Simbel, where they show you the Temple of Seti I. I have pictures of the Temple of Seti I with these bas-reliefs came out of, and I have the actual pictures, and it's two different temples from the late 1800s to the late 1800s to 1989 when they showed the new pictures. They completely tore it down and built it back again. Now, he's a biological mutation. We have so much evidence on that that we don't have to get into the white boy being a biological mutation. We can just act on the man's actions alone. You see, now,